How's it going, guys? We're back with another video. If any of you guys clicked on the title of this one, because it's less money today, I will admit it's like me back in the day. But I'll get into the trade, of course, but it's basically just I took partials and it got to break even. A pretty classic trade. Today's price action was, it was decent. It's just we're in a range where there's less possibilities. So let me show you. I guess we could just get right into it because I don't have much else to say on this Friday. I'm trying to think right now. Well, there is something. Canada's winning the World Cup, baby. Yeah, you heard it here first. No, honestly, we'd be lucky if we get out of the group stage. All right. Let's just get into the trading, I guess, and stop horsing around. So this is the 4-hour time frame. This is the 1 minute on yes, but it looks the same on both indexes, so I'm gonna just put it on Nasdaq. What I meant to say by saying that we're kind of in a range where it's like more complicated to find trades. Look, we're still reacting like with this range right here. This is like a big gap on the daily. Clean draws of liquidity on the 4-hour. Same thing for daily. So we started this little trend, uptrend, and but overall market's kind of bearish. It's just on the 4-hour. We're coming back up. We don't know if it's a retracement or we're gonna like continue towards all-time highs. We don't know this stuff yet. That's what I mean by like we're kind of it's less obvious because we don't have a clear destination on the high time frames. So basically that's what it was for the entire week. So basically what do we do when that happens? Well, we look at if there's clear draws of liquidity on the lower time frames, and that's what I mean by it's less ideal because lower time frames draws of liquidity are less like they matter less than high time frame draws of liquidity. So here we are, we're like in this hour gap as well on Nasdaq. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on ES. Yeah, this hour gap right here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you this gap over here on both indexes, and so makes it even more complicated to find draws of liquidity. I noted this one because I thought this was the clearest draw liquidity on both indexes. Like it makes the most sense. If we're going anywhere, probably we're going there. But again, that's a bit too far for us since we are only trading for New York session, or well, the morning of it at least. And so I'm looking for even smaller time frame draw liquidity. I noted down this fair value gap in case we get this really dump season, which I thought we were gonna have, but we actually started reacting off of draw liquidity, but I'm gonna get to that soon, or now at least. I noted down this draw liquidity and this one over here. A Friday, what tends to happen is we get a lot of volatility, but sometimes we get a lot of volatility, but like it goes both ways. So we get big leg up, big leg down, and today we could say it somewhat was the case. It was a bit more bullish today. This is what it looks like on the 15 minute on both indexes. It's basically just I'm like a rectangle. I'm noting down like this over here, this over here, and I'm looking at trades from either one. So what I mean by that is if we take out one draw liquidity, I'm looking for a reaction and then aiming for the next draw liquidity that I noted down. So let me give you an example of what happened today. We went down, we took down this draw liquidity over here, and now I'm looking at either if we respect it. So if we don't respect it, I'm looking at an entry towards this fair value gap and I'm shorting. Right? If market is showing that it doesn't want to react off this draw liquidity, then it wants this one, and then we're going to react. If it reacts like it did over here, then I'm looking for longs. I'm looking to aim for this draw liquidity, and the big one that I'm trying to get and I think is the most plausible one, but it's a bit too far today. So let's get on the 1 minute time frame, and it will be much clearer there. So we're on the 1 minute. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if I didn't post as much this week. I think I'm gonna have only 3 videos this week, which is basically the amount of trades I took. Like, I can't really make up stuff, or at least I could, but I'm risking to enter forced trades where I could easily lose. Today this week we had a losing week actually, so that's unfortunate. On the month we're still looking good thanks to the unbelievable week we had last week. But yeah, I can't really force trades. To this week it was not my kind of price action. I rather clean jaws of liquidity on the high time frames. For me, it wasn't ideal, but we still managed to find 3 trades somehow, and finally a win. So let's get into that trade actually. Like I said earlier, I'm looking to see if market could take out a draw liquidity on the lower time frame, and then react. We were really like reacting off of that 15-minute gap, if I remember correctly. So right off the bat at 9:30 we react over here and we start dumping. I think PB Trading, if you guys know who he is, he's a pretty famous trader, says we're gonna dump all day, or he said that at least on his Instagram story. And turns out it wasn't true, but it really looked like it at the time. So yeah, we react off this 15-minute gap, come back up in this retrace, and come back down. Here, maybe I could have caught a trade here. I don't remember. Basically, it goes to the draw liquidity that I pointed out and then reacts off of it. But this was a really long wait. This is not the price action I'm looking for if there's a reaction. Where you could have started your trade was around here, right? Because we're reacting on a 1 minute gap over here, and this is really bullish price action. You can aim for this draw liquidity or even the one all the way up here, but I didn't do that, and it was probably because of something I saw on ES, like a fair value gap that was not inversed yet, or like a draw liquidity that had just been hit. Let's see what it was. Yeah, so the reason why I didn't enter here is because we were entering this 1 minute gap on ES around the same time, and I was trying to see if we're going to react off of it. If we're not, you know, the same old. And so after we inversed all of these gaps, we don't react. Well, we do react off this draw liquidity, but we come back up very cleanly. This trade was missing one thing. It was missing a clean entry. This is for me 60% of what I want when it comes to entries. So what I mean by that is, okay, there's a retrace, but what a clean entry looks like is when it comes into this fair value gap and then comes out of it, respecting it, into the clear draw liquidity. So the good thing about my trade was that I had a good draw liquidity, and I was following trend. So those are the 3 things: following trends, draw liquidity, and a good entry. So I ended up getting TP1 once ES took out this draw liquidity over here, and Nasdaq, well, I don't know, it was around here. It was mainly because ES had taken this out and we were starting to react off of it. I'm gonna post a short on my exact thought process during this trade if you guys are interested. So let's get into the reason why I didn't actually get the full TP, which makes sense. Honestly, it makes sense. And during this trade, I was actually really scared that I was gonna get stopped out almost immediately because of the first reason I told you. I didn't wait for a proper respect off a clean gap. We had this 5-minute gap formed over here, and we were around here when I took this trade. And I'm like, it's a bit too far for me to say that it's just gonna go in a straight line. You know what I mean? Market doesn't really move like that. Market is probably gonna come back down a few times before getting to the draw liquidity, like for real. So that's the reason why I didn't get full TP. You could consider myself lucky that, you know, it took this long before he came back down into this 5-minute gap and then went to my full TP. But yeah, I moved it to break even, so I didn't get stopped out. So yeah, that's what happened today. I don't know if I have any more theory, and hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm butchering all my words today. I feel like that's what it was. I'm a bit tired, honestly, but either way, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm gonna post a short, like I said. And if you guys have any questions about this trade, about price action today, or during this week, let me know, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. And so yeah, that's what I had for you guys today. See you guys next week. Monday we're back trading, hopefully.